What's up, StarFam? It's Starlight Art in the evening, and today's video is going to be kind of a mix of things. It's kind of like a mukbang. I've got lentil dal and a ton of rice here, and I'm going to eat this entire thing, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm vegan, which might not be the best thing to do while I'm eating, but fuck it. So, here we go. I haven't made dal in honestly so long, and I don't know why, because it's amazing and it's so easy. Literally just lentils, spices, water, liver juice down, and it's softened up, and yum, so tasty. So the main reasons why I'm vegan, kind of like a little bit of a story time, a little bit of kind of a history of me with plant-basedness. So when I was about 13, I moved to Cornwall. Yes, Shane, I agree. About 13 I moved to Cornwall, and before then I'd never even thought of being vegetarian. But then I lived across the road from all these lovely chickens. They were my neighbour's chickens. We used to buy the eggs off him, and he loved them very, very much. And I was eating so much chicken for lunch, you guys, seriously. Like, every day I had 2 wraps that had sour cream and chive dip with a buttload of cheese and an entire chicken breast with fajita spices on it. That would be my lunch, with other things, of course, like pineapple pots and crisps and chocolate bars and whatever. So fast forward again to probably about a year or so. I moved when I was in year 9, so about year 10. I was doing a dance GCSE. So I was doing a dance GCSE, and a lot of the other girls were a lot slimmer than me. They didn't have skin that was quite as bad. They were more flexible. They were kind of less clumsy. And I wanted to be like them. But I didn't really think about changing my diet. It was more, oh, I'll work out more. So I started following the Blogilates, like 30-day challenge, like workout schedule type things. I did that for absolutely ages. Was having so many eggs. Was having so much chicken, many sweet potatoes as well. Sweet potatoes were good. They still got some carbs in there, but all the eggs, all the hensies, and everything like that. All the dead bird, gross. But then I started getting like really, really, really bad like PMS symptoms, which may be too much for the guys. Sorry, not sorry. So I started getting really bad PMS symptoms, had to stay home for like an entire week, a month, just because I couldn't get out of bed. It was like really, really bad. Cramps, it was like vomit, nausea, diarrhea. Delightful, I know. But it was really, really bad, and I was just getting so dizzy, and I couldn't keep anything down, and I couldn't get out of bed for the entire week for the pain. It was unreal. So I started looking at things to do with my diet, because I was like, okay, there has to be something that I'm doing wrong. I'm working out a lot. I'm eating all of these things that are supposedly healthy, and I'm worse than ever. So fast forward a little bit, did a little bit of a YouTube search on how to get rid of period bloating and period cramps and things like that. And luckily, Freely the Banana Girl had titled a video in something within that region, and that's what YouTube spat at me. So what's the position? Sorry, a friend messaged me. So I checked out her channel, started looking at all of her, like what I eat in a day and her vlogs and things like that. See that? Happy carved up person. Started looking at all of her vlogs. I was like, oh my god, this girl's body is amazing. and she's saying on camera like, oh, I've just started my period and I've got no bloating and I've got no like cramps or anything, I'm gonna go boxing later. I was like, you're gonna go boxing on the first day of your period? Hell no. Hell no. So I need that in my life, so it's got to be what she's eating, because I was doing more exercise than her, so it couldn't have been my exercise routine, it had to be what I was eating. So I did a little bit of research and decided that I wanted to try the Raw Till 4. Told my mum, she told me to do a load more research and make sure I get all the vitamins I need and all that kind of stuff, what kind of things I need to buy in order to get all the vitamins and minerals I needed. And the protein, obviously, because undercarbed mama was like, where are you going to get your protein? Carb, that's where I got my protein, bitch. So, ended up going vegan primarily for my health to begin with, because I had to get rid of the acne, wanted to get rid of all the period pains, the PMS symptoms and everything like that. It was so bad. And within the first 3 months of being vegan, my symptoms had all but disappeared. Like, I would still get kind of like mild cramps, so I had to like take a couple of paracetamol and I'd be okay. I'd be able to actually go into college, which was new for me. If I was like on that time of the month, I needed to stay home in bed the entire time, curled up with water bottles near a toilet. Like, that was the routine, and I didn't need to do that anymore. I could actually join in with some of my dance classes. I could go to the gym while I was on, which was like never been done before. So I was like, okay, this thing is good. And I was eating all the pasta, I was eating like buckets upon buckets of fruit, and then I got a cold, and it was quite a bad cold, but it was winter time and I was surrounded by like people that were ill because I was in college, and that's when kids around my age started experimenting with drugs and stuff, so there was all these new bacteria and whatnot in the air, and I got a cold, and mum was like, okay, well, it has to be this vegan thing, so you need to stop it, you're underneath my roof, my rules, whatever. So I went back to eating, I compromised and said I wouldn't eat any meat, but I'd have some dairy, and that actually made my cold worse, and she could see that, so I was like, okay, go back to not eating those things. That happened a couple of times actually, where she was like, oh no, you're ill, you need to eat the animal products again because it'll make you better, which, huge lie, by the way, don't believe that bullshit. Why do I not make my Dahl more often? But yeah, so fast forward past that, in college for 2 years in the UK. College is like 10th to 12th grade, I think, like 11th and 12th grade in the American system. So in college for 2 years, and was vegan for pretty much all of it, besides the on and off thing where mum was like, oh no, you need to stop it because you're getting sick. So and that's when mum gave me a budget of £20 a week, and she took me to Lidl every week, and I would get my week's worth of shopping with that money. So I would obviously load up on the rice, potatoes, pasta, all the bananas ever, and then whatever was in season, so like oranges, apples, cherries are always my favourite, lychees were always amazing, and some frozen fruit here and there, because like sometimes you fancy something and you can't get it. Peaches, nectarines, like blood oranges, I used to love blood oranges, and things like that. And then at the end of college, I got a boyfriend. So the summer before I went off to university, I got a boyfriend, and that relationship lasted, call it a relationship, that relationship lasted about 2.5 years, and towards the end of my first year of university, I kind of mentioned this in my plant-based video, towards the end of university, I was kind of, he wasn't good with his money, so I was paying for his food as well as mine, and I was like, well, it actually works out cheaper to just buy all of your food and then I'll have whatever you're having, because to feed him the amount that he would have needed in volume of like vegan food just was not going to work for my budget. So I was like, okay, well, if I just eat less and then have what you're having, then I'll be able to afford it, which, toxic move, hugely gaslighting, don't ever get. Huge red flag. If that starts happening, leave. Seriously, leave. But that happened, and I did that for about 1.5 years, of like prioritising whatever he was going to eat. And then I had days where I was like, okay, no, I can't eat any animal products today, I just feel sick. I had quite a few animal products. I think I had like a salmon and cream cheese sandwich or something like that from one of the university shops, and it was so disgusting I nearly threw up from one bite. But he used to do these like lamb chops, I think, and they were like marinated and everything. I like the marinade and the spices and the sauces and everything, so I kind of like put up with it. And yes, I did like offer to make all of those things, and I did buy them. I did contribute to it for almost a year, I think. And I was having, like, I think my favourite thing at the time was it was like cinnamon and raisin bagel with chorizo and cheese in the middle, and didn't really like the chorizo. I ate it a lot because it was what was recommended by my gym trainer. Got way into the gym at that time, so I couldn't afford to do gym and be vegan and still feed him, so sacrificed myself for that one, and sacrificed the thousands of animals that I ate, and I am like, could not be more sorry, and I'm very, very ashamed of that. But it's the past, it happened, I can fix it now. Well, I can't fix it, but I can do better now. So I was eating like that for about a year-ish, with like as much plant-based things as I possibly could, and but also incorporating the like animal flesh and secretions and things like that. So cut to about the beginning of third year, when I moved into my new place as like a shared house in university, and that was when I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to being vegan. Obviously you can't go back and forth from being vegan, so I go back to being plant-based. So I did that and had quite a few slip-ups. So like the house was ordering Chinese, I'd get in it and tell them to order me like a Singapore noodles and find out I had like prawns and eggs and stuff like that in it, and I don't want to waste it, so I'd finish it and then be like, fuck it, give me a chicken ball because I'm already here, which I should not have done, my bad. But that was a learning curve, I guess. And then this is so good. And then when I always like have a birthday about 4 months into every school year, or like in the UK school year. So on my 21st birthday, which would have been like in my third year of uni, I decided that I was like, nope, that's it, go vegan, that's it, done. And I think from then I have pretty much been 100% plant-based. As I mentioned in my other video, I had like a couple of slip-ups with, I think it was like ice cream from Harry Potter, cake at the O2 hotel, and popcorn at the cinema that I didn't realise had milk powder in it, and like a couple of other things where I didn't check the ingredients, it had like honey and milk powder. So I am like absolutely on it with checking the ingredients now, and it's about a year and 10 months later, and I've been pretty much a junk food vegan for the majority of that, because I was doing it for the animals, and that was, I didn't quite remember how bad it was with like periods and stuff when I was like going back to eating meat and stuff like that. So that was like my on and off journey with plant-based. But yeah, a year and 10 months later, and I've been like, besides a couple of slip-ups, like count on one hand over the last 2 years of how many animal products I've eaten, which is pretty good going considering I had such a fall off and then came back to it. But during that time I was on and off the contraceptive pill. I had the implant because I would at that time I would rather have poisoned my body than allow that guy to let me get pregnant in any form of any way. So I was like, okay, well if I get the implant then it will hopefully balance out my periods, because I was eating animal products again. If I do that then it will hopefully balance out my periods, and will also prevent me from getting any baby in me. So that was a plan, because he would have been a terrible father, and I don't want that because I'm not ready for that, like, ever. So once I got the implant, I gave it a couple of months and I was just constantly bleeding, so I went on the pill to regulate that. And it's only within the last year or so, I think I had it taken out in December. I had my implant taken out in December last year. I stopped using the pill about a month before that, month or two before that. Stopped using the pill, had the implant taken out in December last year, and since then have been like trying to heal my body from the shit that was pumping into it. And it was probably in college, I think, that I decided to watch Freely's videos on like 5 reasons you shouldn't eat eggs and 5 reasons you should stop drinking milk and stuff like that, and saw the ethical clips that she posted and decided to actually do my research. And it was after that I was a bit of a kind of plant-based poser, as Freely puts it, because even after being educated like that, I went back to eating all of those kinds of products, which again, I'm very ashamed that I did that. Shouldn't have done it, and biggest regret. But now I know, and I've been vegan, well, plant-based for nearly 2 years now, with only a couple of minor slip-ups, and honestly feeling great, feeling pretty good. And when I decided last year that I wanted to actually be like vegan or like properly plant-based, I did my re-education of watching all of the documentaries like Dominion, What the Health, Forks Over Knives, that kind of thing, Cowspiracy, all of those kind of things. I did my research on what those animal products were actually doing to me and what I was doing to the animals in order to eat those products. So I didn't really remember how bad it was, because I kind of like blocked it out in order to eat them so that I didn't have to spend as much money. And really I should have just left the guy and went back to, like, the second I even thought about eating animals, that should have been when I left the guy and was like, no, you know what, no. If you're going to be tricking me into thinking I need animal proteins when I'm actually fitter than you right now, after going to the gym for less time, then something's wrong here. But live and learn. And yeah, I did my re-education last year, like on my birthday I think it was. I just sat there and watched all of the documentaries ever, and like The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear by Gary Yourofsky, it's like one of my favourite videos of all time, because he's just like absolutely, it's the same energy as Freely, it's just like no bullshit, no time for your excuses, which is very motivating to me. Some people might not like it, some people with like more fragile egos might find it a bit of bullying, but it's not, it's just, they're passionate and I like that. So, well, it's really down to people like that. It was like why I'm starting to want to spread this message, because I do have it in my head now. And like, even before I stopped being plant-based, I would still sometimes look at like bacon or cheese or things like that and be like, oh, I wish I could have that. Or like cake or chocolate and be like, oh, I wish I could have that. Because back then, like even 5 years ago, there wasn't as many options as there are now. Like, there are so many options now and I'm absolutely loving it. Not all of them healthy, but still, options are options. And I would look at those products and be like, oh, I wish I could have that. Or like, oh, I kind of miss not being vegan right now, or not being plant-based right now. And I would say that in front of my grandma. She'd be like, well, stop doing this stupid diet thing and just have one, just have one. And I managed to stand up to the peer pressure, but still, like, the fact that I was having those thoughts of like, oh, I wish I could do that, was like, undercarbed, obviously. So, not now though. Right now, I'm definitely carving up rice and lentils and a lot of spices. I've got ginger, paprika, a bit of pepper, some cumin seeds, some chili, and some, what's it called? The yellow stuff that everyone says is really good for you. Oh, I can't remember the spice now. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that, water, a little bit of juice, let it soften up, and it's like so tasty, seriously. But yes, so I did kind of, like, being the junk food vegan, like, you can tell that I was kind of doing it more for the animals than my health again, because I was so used to eating animal products. I didn't really care about myself at that point. I was quite depressed, quite anxious, and I was like, you know what, just because I'm fucked up doesn't mean I need to fuck up the planet and the animals. So I'll like remove myself from that and then just deal with my own problems as and when they arise and just heal from that. And I have recently had had the time to kind of look in the mirror and see that I have gained quite a bit of weight, because I have been just like on the junk food, all of the salt, all of the processed stuff, all of the fatty things, and I've put on some weight. So I am going back to raw till 4 and see if I can do some days raw as well. I do want to do that like kind of week in a row, just fully raw, just fruits and veggies, like raw veggies, and see how my body reacts to that. I would love to do that like soon, but we shall see how that goes. So that's a challenge that I have in mind that I want to do, and I don't know when I'm going to do it. I'll probably do like a week as a raw vegan kind of video at some point. But as for now, I'm chowing down my lentil, dal and rice, and it is so tasty, so delicious. So anyone that says, oh, but being vegan, you can't eat anything exciting, you can't eat anything that tastes nice, or tastes like cardboard, it tastes too healthy to actually taste nice, this shit, man. You think that I'm like acting right now? If I don't like something, I'm kind of person that's like, if I'm feeling something, it is written all over my face. I'm a very terrible liar. So this is very good. So I am going to finish this off. Obviously, because I've been talking, it's been a bit difficult to eat and talk at the same time. So I've made a dent. In it, but I'm going to finish this off, and from here it'll be like 10 times faster, but I will show you kind of the end plate, and I'm just going to stick some things on and watch them for now. Probably 3D. Okay, I'm on the last few bites, and I am struggling a little bit because my waistband is digging into my stomach, and I've got a big foodie belly right now, but I've probably got another 5 or 6 bites here. I'm gonna finish this dinner and I'm gonna feel amazing tomorrow, and it's gonna be, in the words of one of the demons from The Good Place, it's gonna be a primo dump later on. I'm so sexy. Yes. Back to the speed. Did it. A mountain of food. Took me a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I did it, and whoop, got a big food belly to show off all of my carbs, and my tripod's moved. Great, fantastic. So yes, that was kind of like a why I'm vegan / mukbang thing, like my vegan journey type of thing, and I will be leaving some links in the description to some documentaries and YouTube channels that you need to check out to educate yourself and why you should follow my lead, because once you see them, like, you will need some like proper blinders on to ignore it. And even when I did, like, I still had it in my head and I had to convince myself that what I was doing was fine, which it wasn't. So yes, go watch those things, educate yourself, and yes, because like the things that they do to those animals, like for the dairy industry, that like the second the calf is born, they rip it away from its mother and stick a machine on the teats and on the udders and just suck away all that milk, because you can't have a female having like milk in her teats unless she's pregnant. So it's like constantly artificially inseminated, like properly like raped basically, like constantly, and like constantly kept in this cycle of pregnancy, birth, rip, pregnancy, birth, rip, horrible. And then the second she's no longer useful, she is sent to a slaughterhouse where she's strung upside down by her ankle, slit by her neck, watching her own neck come undone basically, and then ground up into all these different kind of things that you eat. And that's just cows. Like, we can get going on chickens, on like eggs, on like turkeys, on pigs, on that's just the whole spiel thing. It's just not good and not worth supporting with your dollar. So if you want to like learn more about that, I will happily do some more videos on this kind of topics and do like a what happens to each animal kind of thing, so like an education type of thing. Links will be in the description below for the actual types of like documentaries and stuff. Oh, excuse me, wow. Ooh, on the documentaries and things like that to burpee. There we go. For you to watch to educate yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of like, I guess it's kind of like a story time of like my history with plant-based food, I guess. maybe that's the title. I don't know what I'm going to call this video yet. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I think that about wraps it up, because it's getting like a very, very long video now, like without all the shortened things. So yeah, be unapologetically you, no shame, and I will see you, lovely Star family, in the next one.